Like this is my favorite series, and I haven't watched the Cartoon Network series when I was like really
Here we
young.
go.
But damn, it's good.
Oh yeah.
We can't hear.
This one's on the ahead.
I don't know who that is. You look sad.
Kelvin Banks Jr.
You look sad.
What? Ay, ay, ay. What? Another offensive tackle.
Why?
Wasn't Pettit? We're going to renew Pettit's contract.
Yeah.
This past, they're signing up.
Another offensive tackle. We need a quarterback for crying out loud.
Where is the moment we needed the most? You kick up the leaves and the magic is lost. And tell me your blue skies fade to gray. And tell me your passion's gone away. And I don't need no carrying on. You stand in the line just to hit a new low.
Another draft comes and goes, and unintentionally I called what most Saints fans called initially. Yeah. So last night last night went kind of what I was expecting for the Saints to do. Of course, they completely ruined my predictions from the previous video that I made, so that's all out the window. And I'll get into that in a minute. All I know is that this pick was a need, and it was definitely a need. But the thing that agonizes us Saints fans is that this is a pick that we've been seeing for the last 4, 5, 6 years. I lose track at this point. It seems like we're constantly getting another lineman out for the offensive line, and it's just getting old. It's just getting old, folks, and I'm sick of it. I really am sick of it. So, but at the same time, like hearing Coach Kellen Moore's press conference post draft one, it makes sense to why they went this route again, because this is now his team. He wants to build his own team the way he thinks it should be built, and he did mention that it starts by building the trenches, and that refers to the offensive line and also the defensive line. In this case, they went offensive line last night in round one. Now, all the hype, all the build-up that I've been hearing, following, etc., about the Saints possibly trading back into the first round or the second round, really. But it's just the first round, because that's what I've been hearing the most. I've been hearing rumors that the Saints would eventually trade into the first round to get their quarterback of their choosing. And that's what got me really excited and hopeful that we would actually do that. Did they do that? Siri says no. And that's why I'm shaking my head, because, oh, God. Y'all know I've been the biggest Jackson Dart supporter for the last several weeks, or really ever since he came to Ole Miss. Like, I've been preaching that he's definitely gonna be a first round pick for any team, really. I was hopeful it might be my Saints, but that was not the case last night, and that's what really grinds my gears. I'll tell y'all who picked him. So it was, I think, around pick 22, 23, or 25, whichever one of those. The Rams initially were going to pick at that spot, but the Giants made an offer to the Rams that they just simply couldn't refuse, basically giving up next year's 2026 first rounder with two of their current second rounders for this year. And the Rams were sold on it. They traded with the Giants. The Giants grabbed Jackson Dart, and now Jackson Dart is a New York Giant. And I'm in pain. And Ole Miss fans who aren't true NFL fans are rejoicing the fact that he became a first rounder. And look, nothing warms my heart than knowing that my boy Jackson Dart was indeed a first round quarterback, a first round pick worth. Let me rephrase that. He was a quarterback worth a first round pick. All the haters, all the doubters that he has had saying that he was no better than Shedeur Sanders proved them wrong last night. I couldn't be happy for that. But as a Saints fan who has been wanting and preaching for these last couple weeks that I was hopeful that the Saints would actually be smart for once and finally get a new quarterback, break that 55-year now long streak of not picking quarterbacks in the first round. I thought that was going to finally come in last night. We were wrong. I was wrong. I was dead wrong. Instead, the Saints did absolutely nothing, per usual, and that just pisses me off because I wanted the Saints to do that. I know for certain Jackson Dart would have fit with this team so well, but you know what? I can't. Who am I to stand in the way of the Giants? The Giants need him more. And Jackson Dart, I wish you all the best. You served my Rebs well. I'll always consider you as one of the greatest of all time for the Ole Miss Rebels. I'll never forget you, brother. Do well with the Giants. And New York, please take care of them. That's all I ask. That really is all I ask because I think of New York, I'm thinking of their current state, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty whatsoever. Like, all I can think of is they have a solid front four on their defense. They have Malik Neighbors. I know that. I can't remember they have a secondary receiver that's pretty decent. I think it was Darius Slayton. I'll double check, but not right this minute. So it's like the Giants could be on the rise with the current draft that they got so far. Now, the draft's not completed, obviously. We still got round 2's happening tonight, and rounds 3 through 7 will happen throughout this weekend. So I don't know what they're going to do in regards to the Giants. I don't even know what the Saints are going to do at this point because everything that I've heard has been wrong. And that's that. So, but let's go back to talking about the Saints. Let's talk about this draft pick for a second. So at first I was just very disappointed. I was really hopeful that maybe the Saints would change their strategy of how they've been drafting this past decade, really. And if y'all seen my reaction to that first round pick, you could see that I was just very much disappointed, just like every Saints fan on social media, or really just every Saints fan in public. Like, if you heard my friends in the background, they were very disappointed themselves. They're like, oh, come on, not another tackle. We were all disappointed last night. So, but in the end, after just sleeping on it, basically, I kind of see why they got him. And seeing his tape, he was an all-pro SEC player and one of the best offensive tackles in Texas history. He was a top 5 player in his position. He won multiple awards for someone in his position. So I can see why the Saints wanted him. I can see why Kellen Moore wanted him. So it's like, in the end, this is actually a good pick, whether we like it or not. I know it's not the sexiest pick, and that's something that we've been complaining about for the last 10 years or so, that the Saints just don't know how to make a splashy, sexy pick. Well, this is a good one, and this was needed. I mean, did we all forget about last year's O-line? And look, last year's O-line, I think, could have held its own, but the injuries that we sustained was just out of pure luck. Because, we've been the unluckiest squad in, yeah, You guessed it. We've been the unluckiest squad on the O line in NFL history. Like, I have never seen an O line so injury plagued in my entire life. Like, it's just sad. And after seeing how last season played out, this was a need. As much as I hate to admit, this was a need. So it's unfortunate that we couldn't get another special effect. But here's the good news in all this. Here's the good news. Not only does this add depth to our O line, in hopes that hopefully we'll have a stronger O line next season, and also we'll have pieces to plug the holes in when it's starting to leak or people start getting injured and whatnot. I don't know if he's going to be a starter or not. I would presume, given his status and all the things he's done in college, I would presume he's a likely contender to be in that starting role at left tackle. But we'll have to see what happens because, yeah, we just got to see what happens. But I'm excited about this pick. I don't sound excited. I hear you. But I'm excited because this does help booster our really depleted O-line that really is the bread and butter for this offense, especially with Kellen Moore coming in to establish a brand new offense, which we don't know what to expect. But I know that he's a run-heavy kind of guy. So this definitely helps with that. And here's the other thing that I really liked about this pick. And I saw some footages. I know I mentioned seeing footages already, but I saw specific footages of him going up against NFL caliber players from other SEC teams. For example, Georgia. Not just once, but twice. This guy held his own against Georgia very, very well. Like, I was impressed. Like, when you think of Georgia, you're thinking of when you think of Georgia, you're thinking of like NFL caliber players ready to go, and they're just basically playing through either their last season with Georgia or maybe second to last season. I don't know, but like Georgia is coached really well by Kirby Smart, and in the last 5 years, I think he's been with them. Georgia has produced so many elite Georgia players, elite NFL players, just from him alone. And for this guy to hold his ground against them, yeah, I'm sold. I'm absolutely sold. So, and it's not just him. There's been other occasions. Like, he's also been a consistent playoff college football player, to clarify. He's a consistent college football player athlete. When you're in playoff mode in college football, you are definitely going to be ready for the playoffs come the NFL. Now, of course, I don't expect us to make the playoffs next season. That's further down the road. It just depends how the team performs. But having him on this team is going to be essential. And that's what's got me excited, because maybe for once we'll have an actual run game that doesn't get shut down so quickly by some pathetic, weak defenses that we might go up against that we end up making look at a top 5 defense in the NFL. So, with that being said, I like this pick. It's a good pick. It's a solid pick. I love it, and I can't wait to see him in action. So, now what's going to happen in these next rounds? Well, as far as I'm concerned, I highly doubt they're going to go according to my mock draft list that I created in the last video. So, here's what I think is going to happen. I think that the Saints, I got to start thinking about getting more position players. Like, we need another running back for sure. This draft is loaded with running backs. Hell, we could even get a cornerback. Like Trey Amos from Ole Miss. Yes, I know. That's another Ole Miss guy. But he's still out there. He's still available. I mean, think about it. And he's a lockdown corner that we really could use since, we lost Marshawn Lattimore last season. We traded him away to the Commanders, and now he hasn't done much with the Commanders yet. But he was injured all last season. But still, having another lockdown corner that's cheap and effective, yeah, I'm sold. Like, give me that guy. Now, there are some people who are arguing about if the Saints might actually consider getting a quarterback. Here's where I stand on that. Remember when I talked about the 2 scenarios from my previous video on the Derek Carr out for the season video? That's right. I'm talking about that scenario. The scenario where the Saints are going to stick with Spencer Rattler, see how he plays out, and we'll go from there. Because the upside of that is if we find out that he's a really good player, then guess what? We just found our quarterback of the future. And he's cheap as well. So that's a big plus. If he sucks, well, we end up having a top 5 draft pick, as much as I hate to lose. But a top 5 draft pick sounds pretty good to me, don't you think? Plus, next year's quarterback, allegedly, is much better than this year's draft class. So that's why I'm thinking, forget drafting a quarterback this year. Just forget about it. Like, don't worry about Shedeur Sanders. I know he dropped out of the first round last night, which I was a little shocked, but at the same time, not completely, because I knew he's overrated. But at the same time, don't even think about it. Not even this Tyler Show guy who I've been hearing his name mentioned a lot over social media. He's a quarterback for Louisville who's okay-ish, but he's not. He's getting old and he's injury prone. Someone I just don't want. Period. So with that being said, I think if we just simply forget about the quarterback position this year, we draft a running back or receiver, whichever comes first. Hell, even a cornerback. We still have plenty more options later in this draft. To be honest, this draft is actually more draft-friendly to the Saints than it has been in the past maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years at best. Because how the pieces have fallen in this draft so far, because this draft has been mainly defensive players, and we've only seen one round. Like, literally, after Cam Ward was picked by the Titans, I saw only maybe 1 or 2 receivers get picked in this round. Everybody else has been edge tackle, defense, linebacker, cornerback, you name it, including Travis Hunter, who plays both receiver and cornerback. I guess you classify it as both. I don't know. But with that being said, it's like, absolutely, we should just forget about getting a quarterback. Let's get ourselves another skill player position kind of player. That made no sense, but you know what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's take this opportunity to really reload on some of those spots that are glaring holes on this team and go through with it. See what Spencer Rattler's made of. Like, I know Spencer Rattler, I've been a believer of his last season. There's some haters, obviously, that say he sucks. But at the same time, those haters are just blind as a bat because they don't realize, hello, he had Walmart players to play with. He had nobody to throw the ball to. He had an O-line that was made out of Swiss cheese. He was put in the worst spot ever. And with Derek Carr out of the picture coming soon, yeah, this is his time to shine. His time to shine. Now, what will the Saints listen to me? Hell no. I mean, they clearly didn't listen to me in that first round, obviously. So, yeah, I don't know what to expect with this round. So, I'm just going to be honest. Like, we all been completely wrong from what we've been hearing rumors-wise. And it would not shock me if the Saints just do the complete opposite of what I'm suggesting. So, but if they do, then at least I know that they acknowledge that we have glaring holes on this team, and they're trying their best to fill the shoes. So, yeah. So, that's my post round 1 draft reaction to everything. So, obviously, once the draft is all said and done, I think me and my boys at the Idiots in the I Formation podcast will eventually get our episode up and running soon. I'll have to coordinate with them with that. But in the meantime, I will plan on having my own post-draft reaction to all the Saints picks once they're all said and finalized and done later on. So, yeah. So, shorter video this week. I mean, obviously, I did say I would be making 2 videos this week that are both pretty short. So, yeah. So, anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing y'all again, talking more football, talking about the Saints and everything. I'm excited for what the future's got in store for us. So, tune in next week for the next episode. All right, guys, I'll check y'all later. Do that, baby.